Award.
The Tuesday, January 6, 2026 meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council is now called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a bit of a full house this evening for our first meeting in 2026, and I always feel safe here with our amazing police department, but we are particularly fortunate, I think blessed this evening to have many of our esteemed police officers in the back of the room. Thank you all of you for being here. It's typical at this time in our meetings for me to announce our open podium invitation to our residents of Eden Prairie. Open podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government prior to each council meeting. The council meetings typically occur the first and third Tuesday of each month. The open podiums occur from 6:30 to 6:55 right here in the council chamber. If you wish to speak at open podium about a topic that's probably not on the agenda that evening, please do contact the city manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, your phone number, and subject matter so we can be better prepared for you. Open podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about open podium, please do contact the city manager's office. So all cities, I believe, have a housing redevelopment authority group. Sometimes it's separate from the city council. Here in Eden Prairie, our HRA is our city council. So we often will have an embedded HRA meeting within the city council meetings. So that's what we have this evening. I'm going to call the HRA meeting to order. And the first item is to approve the HRA minutes of the meeting held back on December 2nd, 2025. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Move to approve the HRA minutes from December 2nd, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Mr. Getchell, I'll turn it over to you. We have a resolution to adopt this evening within the HRA meeting, and that will be the only agenda item for the meeting except to adjourn it. So over to you, Mr. Getchell.
Yes, members of the HRA, you may recall, you previously approved the Roars Eden Prairie Apartment Project on City West Parkway. This is a conversion from an office building to a 195-unit mixed-income apartment project. So you've already given preliminary approval to this project. You've also already held a public hearing for a proposed tax increment financing district for the affordable housing units, the rental units that would be a part of this. As you're obviously very familiar, all of our apartment rental unit projects have had an affordability component that is funded partially by TIF. We also have an inclusionary ordinance that also has a number of units, in this case 10 additional units, that are also affordable, that are not part of tax increment financing. So you have 39 units, 20%, that are funded by tax increment financing. So the action before you tonight is to adopt a resolution modifying the project area and the tax increment financing district and adopting a tax increment financing plan and then approving the development agreement. So as I mentioned before, you've already gave the preliminary approval for the project and held your public hearing. As you mentioned, Mayor, the action is the resolution. It's the only reason that you're holding the HRA meeting this evening.
And there should be nothing new in this evening from what we had discussed and, again, held the public hearing before. So, but council, any questions or comments you want to make at this time? If not, could I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll move to adopt a resolution adopting a modification to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment project area number 5 and establishing tax increment financing district number 27, Rowers Eden Prairie Apartments. Adopt a tax increment financing plan, therefore, and approve the TIF development agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. All right, could I have a motion to adjourn the HRA meeting?
Move to adjourn the HRA meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, coming out of the HRA meeting, now back into our normal city council meeting, we have some proclamations and presentations this evening. Mr. Getchell.
Yes, Mayor and Council, we do have a couple different presentations. The first one, I'm going to invite our fire chief and deputy police chief up to the podium to introduce this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Deputy Chief Wood and I are honored to be here to represent both the police and fire departments tonight for a letter of recognition we'd like to give to Sundari Sangara. I'd like to welcome Sangari and her boyfriend Rory to the council meeting this evening. You'll meet them shortly. I'd also like to welcome all of the dispatchers, the police officers, the firefighters that are with us in the room tonight as well. And before I specifically give and we talk about the recognition tonight, I do want to talk about our public safety response in Eden Prairie. In Eden Prairie, public safety is about a team. It's responding to any emergency in our community is really about a team being able to do that together. In this case, it was for an emergency medical event that happened in our community. It started with our dispatchers, and our dispatchers are an amazing group of people that take information over the phone to be able to get the information with what might be happening and then transfer that to the police, fire, and EMS folks that are responding to be able to give us that information over the radio or over a page. The police often arrive first in our community based on where they are and being out in our community. And in this particular case, a police officer arrived on scene first with care being performed by a citizen that we're going to recognize tonight. Fire arrived in that after the police officers, again arriving to help with ongoing patient care, but then also bringing additional equipment like advanced airway equipment and a Lucas device that helps perform CPR in a manual way. Additionally, the fire department also provides additional hands in the back of an ambulance when we move a patient from the scene to a hospital. And often last to arrive in our community is our valued resource and our partnership with Hennepin EMS. In this particular case, Hennepin EMS arrived on scene also to be able to provide ongoing care as well as advanced life support care to be able to then transport to a hospital. The evening of September 27th, 2025, all parts of the system, including bystander or public involvement, worked collaboratively as a team to create this effective outcome. But I also want to acknowledge the innovative and collaborative thinking of our Park and Recs Director, Amy Markle, and her staff. In coordination with Eden Prairie Lions, which provided funding, an AED was placed at Miller Park just a few short days before this incident happened at Miller Park. Today, our Park and Recreation staff, along with the funding from the Eden Prairie Lions, continues to place additional AEDs in parks across the city. These efforts enhance patient care throughout our community. Now I'd like to hand it over to Deputy Chief Woods to read a specific letter of recognition for Sundari.
Sundari and Roy, could you come up, please? All right, I will be reading the letter of recognition for the evening. On the evening of September 27th, 2025, Sundari Sangdara and her boyfriend Rory Baki were playing pickleball at Miller Park when Rory collapsed. Sundari shouted for help while other players called 911 and grabbed an AED that had been installed at the park just 2 weeks prior. Sundari had seen a Facebook post about the AED installation and knew to ask other players to retrieve it. An Eden Prairie officer arrived and helped Sundari check for a pulse, and when they couldn't find one, Sundari started CPR, attached the AED to Rory, and it delivered a shock. Eden Prairie firefighters and Hennepin EMS paramedics arrived and continued CPR for another 10 to 15 minutes, administering 2 additional shocks and providing additional life-saving measures. Rory began to come back and was taken by ambulance to the hospital. A few days later, Rory was walking and talking in the hospital, and a week after the incident, he was discharged. He was diagnosed with ARVC, a rare genetic heart condition. In late October, Rory received a defibrillator. It took a lot of factors for a successful outcome in this case, including the placement of the AED at Miller Park and the help of bystanders, but primarily among them was Sundari's ability to stay calm, give directions to others, and apply her medical training and experience. Her quick thinking and actions saved Rory's life. On behalf of a grateful community, we would like to present the City of Eden Prairie Letter of Recognition and 2 challenge coins to Sundari.
I'm just saying. Congratulations. We'll get here. We'll get in a line and do some pictures.
We'll put the mayor in the middle. You two are on there.
You go on the side. You get next to the mayor.
We're good. You should be. You definitely. Yeah, actually turn that around. You bet. There you go. You've done this before. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just want to say on behalf of the council up here that we, every first meeting in December, set the levy, which impacts taxes, which impacts your monthly tax bill, right? If you amortize or whatever, but it directly has an effect on every one of our residents, how much we choose to spend of your tax money each year. And the majority of what's in our levy is for public safety. And when we see examples like this where the high quality of public safety in this city, and it starts with our police officers and firefighters, but it goes to the equipment that we have. And some of it's just staying high quality, state of the art that allows us to save lives, to make sure that our residents have the best opportunities to live long and healthy lives that they can. Yes, it impacts taxes. We try our best to do that as efficiently as possible, to spend your money and to set that levy. But when we see examples like this that we've been really for 60 years, but we've been on it just for a handful of those years, but for 60 years, Eden Prairie Council is choosing the road or the path of high quality, and we see it lived out in an example like this evening. So again, thank you to Sundari and other residents, but also thank you to our police and our firefighters. We really deeply appreciate all of you, and on behalf of our residents, thanks for all that you do. Mr. Getchell.
Thank you, Mayor. We have another very positive item, I would say as well, related to a donation and a scholarship, and I will turn things over to Amy Markle.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited tonight. We are going to be honoring and presenting our first Camp Consular Impact Scholarship, which has been received through the Eden Prairie Foundation. We had an anonymous donor who's made a generous contribution through the Eden Prairie Foundation to establish the Camp Consular Impact Scholarship in support of Eden Prairie Parks and Recreation Day Camp staff. The donor is a lifelong Eden Prairie resident and advocate for the Parks and Recreation Department. This scholarship recognizes the dedication, leadership, and positive impact camp counselors demonstrate each summer while mentoring youth and creating safe, inclusive, and engaging camp experiences. The scholarship supports counselors pursuing their career path focused on youth development and service. The city is pleased to honor Dylan Curry and Lily Longinger as the recipients of the Camp Consular Impact Scholarship in recognition of their commitment and positive impact on campers and the community. Dylan's present tonight to recognize the award. Lily wasn't able to join us. We also have our Park and Recreation and Natural Resources Commissioner, Kirk Spresser. He's been a commissioner that's been heavily involved with our process and helping guide us. So he's here, as well as our senior recreation supervisor, Nicole Weedman, who oversees our summer camp program and has mentored, hundreds of youth as they work with campers throughout the summer and provided a lot of leadership to them and growth. So she's here tonight as well. So I'd like to welcome Dylan to come up.
Hello, council members and mayor. I'd like to thank you for this recognition, and I plan to use this scholarship to fund my education at the University of Minnesota for elementary education. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
We're going to do a quick picture.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's clap.
Thank you. This year was the first year of the scholarship program, and we will be continuing it in 2026. So we'll strongly encourage any of our campers and the instructors out at the camps to apply for the 2026 scholarship.
All right. Do you just want to, Amy, continue on, or
Yeah, Amy has the next item as well.
Yep. So I have our quarterly donations to the Park and Recreation Department for the fall. And we had quite a few, and all of the donations we use help offset program costs and help bring the cost to participants down, and we're able to do more for several of our program and events with these additional funds. So a huge thank you to everyone that has contributed generously. The Prairie Bluff Senior Living Facility contributed $400 to senior center programs. Spark contributed $200 to senior center programs and an additional $50. The Eden Prairie Baseball Association donated $500 to the Harvest to Halloween program. City Hill Church donated $1,500 to Harvest to Halloween. The Gardner School donated $300 to Harvest to Halloween. Viridian Credit Union donated $2,100 to Harvest to Halloween. Project 52 Dance, $1,300 for Harvest to Halloween. Legacy Gymnastics, $250 towards the Harvest to Halloween event. Actually, all the rest of them are Harvest to Halloween. So we had Applewood Point of Eden Prairie, it was $300, Soccer Shots, $125, and Old National Bank, $300, for a total for the fourth quarter of $7,325. And again, just thank you to everyone who generously donated to help offset costs.
so if you haven't come to Harvest for Halloween, I think you're going to want
popular
to.
item.
It is truly an amazing event. I'll never forget the first one. I think we were expecting, we didn't know what to expect, right? Hundreds, and we got thousands of people. I think it was right kind of during COVID, people were looking for, or right after, an excuse to go out. It was just amazing. And I say this often when we accept donations that the city collects taxes, right? And we have a levy and we spend back, but we can't do everything. And so when these organizations that have maybe special interests in contributing to a particular cause, it really allows our tax dollars to go so much further. So we really deeply appreciate the contributions. And 7,325 is no small deals. And it sounds like 6,700 that's going to Harvest for Halloween. So again, if you haven't come to that, please do show up at that, as well as our other events. So council, this needs a motion to adopt a resolution accepting the fourth quarter donations. Can I have a motion?
Move to adopt resolutions accepting multiple fourth quarter 2025 donations to Park and Recreation.
Second.
So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right. Ready to move on to the agenda for our council meeting. I believe Councilmember Toomey, I think we have one addition.
Yes, I just have a council member report at the end.
Okay. Is there anything else, council, to add to the agenda this evening? So could I have a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition?
Move to approve the agenda.
As with the one addition, is there a second?
Second.
One addition and second.
You got it, we got it, we got you covered. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, all right. And then we need to approve the council minutes from our last meeting, December 2nd. Both the workshop and the regular council meeting. Council, are there any items or lines within either of those minutes that you wish to edit or add comments to or question? If not, could I have a motion to accept both minutes?
I'll move to approve the following city council minutes. City council workshop held Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025, and the city council meeting held Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, consent calendar is quite long this evening because we're starting out our first meeting of the year. We have a lot of kind of general things to establish. Just for anyone in the audience or listening at home, a consent calendar are really important items. They often don't require additional discussion, so we clump them in one large motion. However, council, you are certainly free to pull any or have any pulled. We can even vote on them separately, but anybody have a question about any of the items A through X? If not, could I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move to approve item A to X on the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right. Mr. Getchell, we do have 4 public hearings this evening. Do you want to introduce the first one?
Yes, Mayor, Council. First one is Wings Financial Credit Union. This is a proposal to construct a new 3,200, almost 3,300 square foot building, Wings Financial Credit Union, in the northwest corner of the Cub Foods parking lot at 8015 Den Road. The request is a site plan approval for the city council, and we do have the applicant here to provide an overview of their project, and staff and the applicant can answer any questions the council may have. At the December 8th Planning Commission meeting, they reviewed this project as well and unanimously recommended that the council approve this project. And I believe the applicant is here to come forward to present their project.
Great. Please give your name and address and who you work for, maybe, if that's relevant to why you're here.
Hi, my name is Lori Brockman. I'm from Pope Design Group. I am actually a resident of Blaine, Minnesota.
We'll let you continue.
Okay. I believe there's a presentation. There we go. Pope Design Group has been working with Wings Credit Union for approximately 8 years, and we have been working with them and developing the same prototype. I think we've done 8 of them so far. Next slide, please. Wings Credit Union has approximately 950,000 members. Of those members, approximately 6,000 call Eden Prairie home. And they come from a wide range of different backgrounds and age groups. Next slide, please. Wings is proposing to build a new credit union at the corner of Leona Road and Den in the Cub Foods parking lot as an outlet. It will be approximately 3,300 square feet. There we go. On the corner there to serve its members. It includes full-service banking and has a remote drive-through. You can see an image of the proposed building there and a sample drive-through lane as well. The building will connect to Den Road and is providing a pedestrian pathway from Den Road all the way to Cub Foods. We have some images of similar buildings that have been constructed. This one is in Maple Grove. And you'll note as we cycle through these, most of them are in outlots of retail centers. The intent is that to help members make their banking part of their regular errands. Lakeville, Northfield. Next. Are there any questions?
Council? Okay, if, we will have a public hearing, so if we have other questions, we'll call you back up.
All right.
Thank you so much. Council, do you want to proceed to have the public hearing, or do you want any questions asked first? Okay.
Public hearing.
Go ahead and have the public hearing. So, anyone in the audience, this is a public hearing. If you wish to come up and address the council on the Wings Credit Union initiative or proposal, please come forward now, give your name and address. Seeing none, council, if you wish, go ahead and close the public hearing. If you want, unless you can still ask questions. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and make the motion, see if we get a second, and then we can still ask any questions or have any comments made. So, go ahead.
Move to close the public hearing and direct staff to prepare development agreement incorporating staff and commission recommendation and council conditions, and authorize the issuance of an early land alteration permit for Wing Financial Credit Union at the request of the developer, subject to the conditions outlined in the permit.
Is there a second?
Second.
Council, any questions you have? It's pretty straightforward. Interesting too, when you go into a parking lot corner, your impervious surface doesn't really change, right? So that's kind of nice. Are there any trees on the, I don't even know directions here because I get so turned around at that part of the major center market area, but is that on the north side? The side facing the hotel building, there's a tree line there. Are there trees impacted by that pathway? Go ahead, or the utility easement?
There are. I can let Julie respond.
Mayor, members of the council, there are several trees that will be removed that are currently in a landscape island, and those trees need to be removed in order to provide utility connections to the building. They will be required to be replaced at a 1-for-1 ratio, and that has been incorporated into the site plan.
Now, why 1-for-1? Because our ordinance has caliper inches, right? I mean, so how does that work? Because you're replacing a big tree with a little tiny tree if it's 1-for-1.
In this case, there is an approved landscape plan for the Cub Food Center. So when it's an existing landscape plan, they are replaced at a 1-for-1. If it is new development, then things are calculated on a caliper inch basis.
And then because this doesn't have a lot of open green space, where will these trees be replaced?
Mayor, members of the council, those trees are going to be replaced in other landscape islands that will be added to the site in order to bring the site into closer conformance with our newer regulations regarding landscape and parking islands.
Excellent. And then one last question. I assume you've done a parking analysis. I'm assuming, I've been to Cub several times, obviously. I go to a lot of grocery stores across Eden Prairie. Yep. So, and that is true that they don't utilize their entire parking lot anytime I've ever been there. So I'm assuming this is not going to create an issue at all. And even in future uses of this building space, in the event it was no longer a grocery store, I'm assuming we've considered that and calculated in that we will never need this parking space.
Mayor, members of the council, that is correct. Even with the reduction of the parking stalls to accommodate the construction of the new credit union, the site will still exceed the city code requirements of both the Cub Foods and the credit union itself by approximately 30 stalls.
Okay, good. Council, any other questions or comments? Then, we've made the motion, seconded. I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. Welcome to wherever you went, to Eden Prairie. Thank you. Thanks for coming this evening. All right, Mr. Getchell, our second public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. A second public hearing welcomes a new business into Eden Prairie, Dave's Hot Chicken. The applicant is requesting to move into an existing building in the southeast corner of the Prairie Village Shopping Center, occupying, currently there's a veterinary clinic that occupies 5,800 square feet in a 7,800 square foot building. So the restaurant would occupy just a little over 2,000 square feet, and they're looking at a small 500 square foot addition that would be a 3-season outdoor dining area on the west side of the building. There would not be a drive-through. The addition would extend into 3 parking stalls on the west side of the building. Again, you will note that the approval here is simply a development agreement approval. There isn't any zoning approvals or any plan unit development. It fits into the existing building, into the existing zoning. The applicant is here to, again, also because of that, this project goes straight to City Council. It did not need Planning Commission review. So there isn't a recommendation by Planning Commission. It only needs to go to City Council. The applicant is here to answer any questions you have, provide any information that you may need, staff as well. This does require a public hearing, and as I said, the only action then would be to direct staff to prepare a development agreement.
Okay. Council, again, do you want to ask any questions now? Or do you want to hold the public hearing and then hold your questions if you wish? Oh, presentation by the proponent.
Yep. I'll make it quick.
No, you take all the time you
stole
want.
time, I
So
thought
give your
I had all
name
my
and
notes.
address and company that you work with that's relevant.
Walk us through all the menu items.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for having me here tonight. My name is Connor McCoy. I'm with Kimley Horn. I'm here representing First Washington and to talk through the Prairie Village Southeast Building updates. So we do have a slideshow that was prepared. So next, please. The building is located at 1649 West 78th Street on the corner of Highway 5 and Eden Prairie Road. This building is a part of the overall Prairie Village Shopping Center, but it is within its own lot. The existing building, which is roughly 7,880 square feet, used to be occupied by MedExpress. It is proposed that it would be subdivided internally to have approximately 5,880 square feet on the east side for the current vet clinic and 2,560 on the west side for the proposed Dave's Hot Chicken. That number includes the 550 square feet for the proposed 3 Seasons patio. And then there is also a common area space, roughly 830 square feet in the southwest corner of that building. With this being a part of the overall shopping center, this building does share parking with all the other tenants in the area. Next, please. The Dave's Hot Chicken is proposed to occupy the west half of the existing building as shown on the screen. A connection from the building to the patio would be made with the patio extending off the western wall. This patio is proposed to occupy 3 existing stalls. Despite the loss of the 3 stalls, the shopping center as a whole still complies with the city code requirements. The proposed patio will cause a loss of sidewalk space against the building. All customers will still have access to the building, going through the patio into the building or accessing the building through the main entrance on the north side. This new restaurant is considered a fast casual style and does not have a drive-through. Next, please. The existing facade on the current building is proposed to remain as is, with some updated signage for the new tenants. The three-season patio will be constructed with materials classified as Class 1 building materials. All materials, both existing and proposed, are going to meet the city's building materials standards. Next, please. Along with the building changes, it is also proposed that the current lot will undergo a lot line adjustment. This adjustment would extend the western and northern lot lines near the drive aisles. This would allow the lot to encompass the new patio extension as well as the head-end parking directly adjacent to the building. This would increase the lot size by 0.13 acres. And these proposed lot lines do still comply with the setbacks that were approved by a variance back in 1993. Next, please. And then I'm going to pass it off to my colleague Jacob to talk about the traffic impacts.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, as part of this, we completed a traffic impact study, knowing that this is one of the higher traffic areas in Eden Prairie, with the mall being fairly well utilized. And as part of the traffic study, determined that there's available capacity in the area, but it more so comes down to how people actually get into the site. As you can kind of see in the images, there's a couple driveways in really close proximity to the intersection there where vehicles will slow down to turn into the lots. So we have a couple different mitigation measures to kind of help with the additional traffic from the Dave's Hot Chicken. And that would be kind of converting that first drive aisle to an exit only, so vehicles cannot turn into there, and they would have to go to the aisle just to the west, and then add additional signage near the front of the Kowalski's there to prevent people from stacking in that area and doing any sort of pickup drop off at the front of the store.
Can I stop you right there just to ask a question?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of us are really familiar with this site. It's a go-to grocery store for many of us, but I've found, I'm just curious, and that maybe Julie, maybe, or Robert, maybe this is a traffic staff issue, but I'll ask you as well. I would think it'd be exactly the opposite, that you'd convert to an entrance only, because when you're trying to exit and there's just lines of cars there, to get out of that second corridor is really difficult. Whereas if you could get cars in there and get them off the road coming in, it seems to me that would be an entrance only and the other one would be an exit only. But I'm just curious, to me that stacks cars badly, but if I'm missing something, Robert, is that more your area?
Yeah, Mayor, Case, Council, I can weigh in on that. I do frequent this quite often too. I live in this neighborhood. So actually the concern that we had, and I think that matched with what the engineer analysis said, is vehicles that are making that northbound left and coming into the site, if they have to make an immediate right-hand turn, then they have to slow down, they have to navigate that corner, and if you have several cars behind you that are still trying to get in, just slowing that vehicle down, you actually lose a vehicle or two trying to get through that queue. And you have a very limited green time for that northbound left turn arrow.
Yeah, I can picture that exactly. So, all right, I
Yeah.
get it. And then that'll just be a signing issue. Then you'll have a big sign that "Do not enter, exit only" or something to
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
cars out of there.
The idea would be, we'll try to tackle that with some signage, maybe some pavement markings. If that doesn't work, and I think we'll need to talk about what are some contingency plan mitigation measures. You might need to do something with the structural curb and gutter. We kind of want to wait and see, and I think we can address that through the development agreement if perhaps the signage alone, pavement markings alone did not work.
So much of what we're talking about impacts Kowalski, so I'm assuming they've been at the table consistently. This is their property, right? They would.
Yeah, I think they have a vested interest in this
vested interest,
project
okay.
being approved, and they'd be cooperating as we try to mitigate any traffic impacts.
Thank you for allowing me to interrupt there.
Yeah, and just to kind of go along with that, part of what we did was we set up cameras for 5 days to kind of record observations out there, and that was kind of right before the Thanksgiving holiday. So it was a good kind of stress test on what we were seeing out there. And a lot of that first drive aisle kind of comes down to loading trucks going to the back, which already kind of turns slower than normal vehicles, but then having to make that kind of S maneuver into there. So trying to limit those maneuvers as well. And that's where our final kind of improvement of adding a couple seconds of additional northbound left green time just to allow more vehicles to be able to turn into the site on a cycle. Should be adequate to accommodate the traffic.
Is that it?
That is it.
All right. Stay close in case we have questions. Council, once again, I can now, second time going through this, open this up to a public hearing, or you can ask some questions now or after. At your pleasure.
I do have questions, but either time will do.
Okay, why don't we have the public hearing, close it, and then ask our questions. So this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wishing to address us on this development proposal of Dave's Chicken.
Hot chicken.
What?
Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's Hot Chicken. Thank you. Please come forward. Give your name and address. All right. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing portion of Dave's Hot Chicken? And then we'll proceed with any comments we have.
Move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, public hearing is closed. Kathy, why don't you go ahead? I've got a few questions as well. Go ahead.
I've got a question about the wall that's adjoining the pet clinic in your restaurant. It does strike me that you might serve some things that animals in the pet clinic would love to get their teeth around, but probably won't be allowed to. Is there enough bracing and enough smell control so that your cooking food isn't going to make a problem for people bringing their pets into the clinic?
Kind of could go both ways on that one. That's a good question.
Well, thank you for the question. Unfortunately, I do not have the answer to what the material is going to be of that internal wall and the details of that. I can get that information for you, but that would be more of the architect question.
We could have staff also just follow up on that.
Yeah, I would like to know that because it's a little different circumstances than two businesses being next to each other.
Well, we have Crispin Green and Flying Cloud Animal
Good
Hospital.
point. We already have that in the
And
city,
it
so we
smells,
have a precedent.
I was just
so
there
they can
today,
comment.
and Crispin Green smells good.
Julie, so you've got precedent on that. You can bring just back a brief comment or send it out in our next packet or something.
Follow up.
Okay, what else?
That's really it, is thinking on the part of the current people bringing their pets in and the people who will want to come in to eat and such.
Got it.
And
Yep.
make it sure there's some way to keep the pets from going into eating.
No, that's important too. I just, yeah, as long as you're there, more curiosity, why 3-season, not 4-season, as long as you're building it?
It has to do with the windows that they're installing. They didn't want to say 4-season. If it got too cold, they want to have the ability to not have people sit out there, but still use it as an entrance to the building. So that's why I've been
Okay.
appointed as a 3-season instead of 4-season.
And you need to like that, I mean, I was just more curious. I'm sure we might get that question. And then I'm assuming no drive-through because you've already mentioned the traffic issues, but if, in the best of all worlds, would you have preferred a drive-through?
Personally, I don't know. That would be a Dave's Hot Chicken question, if they would have preferred a drive-through. It wouldn't work really well with the site, and if they
Right.
wanted that patio there, because their big thing was increasing the seating area for the restaurant. So they could
They would
either
have
have
preferred that.
one or the other, and I think they probably
Right.
went with the extended seating area.
And then finally, the common space that is included in there, is that like trash cans or something? Or is that not something that, seems like there's a lot of square footage in there that the restaurant could have utilized rather than to build an addition? But what's the reason that the common space was not within your control and domain?
I believe the common space is there currently, and it is proposed to be a common area for both the vet clinic and the Dave's Hot Chicken to utilize, as well as landowner to store salt for snow and salt removal.
Okay, so a storeroom kind
Yep.
of concept
Yep.
and trash area. And
Yep.
anything else from staff to, okay. Any council, anything else to question? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we have closed the public hearing. We need a motion then to go ahead and approve this.
Direct the
From one
staff,
of you.
direct the staff to prepare a development agreement for Prairie Village Southeast Building incorporating staff and commission recommendations and council conditions.
So we had no council conditions this evening. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments any of you wish to ask or make?
Well, the one council condition was, as we hear it back about,
Good point, fair, yep. Just a
The-
clarification that adequate pre-thought has gone on, planning gone into the separation between the two entities. All right, then ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed, all right. Dave's Hot Chicken, welcome to Eden Prairie. I'm sure that's going to be a benefit to many people, me included. All right, I'm allowed to vote on something that I'm going to personally benefit from. I just want, as long as we all benefit together, I just want to clarify that. All right, Mr. Getchell, we are moving on to our two ordinance public hearings this evening.
Yes, Mayor, we do. We have a few code amendments here. This code amendment coming up next is related to our site plan reviews. So timely, we just had some site plan reviews. We'd like to do some cleanup on site plan approvals to streamline the process a little bit, based on some feedback we get and also some peer reviews of other communities. So you will see in the packet that some of the changes that are being proposed that are rather minor, and they're related to a few small areas where staff is recommending that there are a few site plan scenarios that can be approved at a staff level and would not need a full review of planning commission and council. And you can see on the table, those would include areas where there are small facade changes that are made, or in certain areas related to building demolitions and certain conforming building expansions. So as you know, we have 3 levels of review depending on what types of projects there are: administrative reviews, minor reviews that maybe only come to city council. That was Dave's Hot Chicken. And then many of our reviews that go through full planning commission and city council. So there are some reviews where you'll see a facade change. A building addition will not happen, but a facade may change and it'll come to city council, and that adds sometimes weeks, if not a month, to a project that couldn't be done at the staff level. And you as council members sometimes ask, why is this on our agenda? Why are we approving this? It's because our city code says that the city code required that particular facade change required council review. So staff can certainly answer any questions that you have. We're trying to improve the process, make it more applicant friendly, but also be rigorous enough, obviously, to stay within our standards of design and our processes and values. Since this is an update to our Chapter 11, we do need to hold a public hearing, and there would still be a first and second reading for this ordinance. Planning Commission at their November meeting unanimously recommended approval.
So am I correct in seeing that the only changes are the facade changes from class 1 to classroom and conforming to conforming?
Mayor, members of the council, farther down on the chart is also the conforming building expansion. So a staff could approve up to 10% of the gross floor area administratively. If there was an expansion between 10 and 50% of the gross floor area, that would be minor, meaning it comes straight to the council, bypassing the planning commission. Anything greater than a 50% gross floor area increase would require the full process. And then on the back page, similar situation for demolition. Up to 10% can be demoed with staff approval. Anything greater than 10 would be a minor process through council only.
My eyes read that as a late category, not, I got it. It's green, I understand. Great, understood. Before we hold a public hearing, council, any clarification questions you have? So because it's an ordinance change, this does, anytime we amend an ordinance, it does require a public hearing. So this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this ordinance amending City Code Section 11.47? If you were here tonight for 11.48, I apologize, but it's 11.47 right now. Seeing none, council, if you want to go ahead and close the public hearing and move the motion.
Move to close the public hearing and approve the first reading of ordinance amending City Code Section 11.47 relating to site plan reviews.
Second.
Council, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. All right, Mr. Getchell, our last public hearing of the evening.
Yes, Mayor. This is related to our shoreland management in section 11.5. And very exciting because it brings to us tonight our Water Resources Coordinator, Lori Hack. She is going to, I believe it's her first time live on television, City Council.
All right.
And I don't want to steal her thunder because she's going to present to you the updates to our city code to better align with new Minnesota DNR model ordinance. So she is going to walk you through this.
Good evening, mayors, members of the council. Thank you. Try and keep it brief and simple this evening. Our shoreland code is section 11.50 of Eden Prairie City Code, and it is basically a more protective overlay zoning district that helps regulate protection of shoreland areas. And those are areas that are within 1,000 feet of the ordinary high water mark of a lake, or within 300 feet of a creek or a river, and then the associated floodplain that goes with that. So I provide that because this graphic is a little bit overwhelming at first, because nearly 50% of all of Eden Prairie is within the shoreline zone. This is a significant thing within the city. We have 18 lakes and 4 different creeks and a lot of shoreland. So you can see that there's a potential significant impact. The thing that's really important here is that the DNR adopted a model ordinance which is meant to cover the entire state in 2022. And the city of Eden Prairie needs to bring its code into compliance with that. But of course, because we're mostly developed, we can't do that word for word. So what we're doing this evening is proposing modifications that have already been received preliminary approval from DNR. They've been conditionally approved in October. And we're proposing some modifications that will align our code with that model ordinance. So the goals are, again, to comply with the DNR requirements and those state rules, to, in some places, codify existing practice, because as you're aware, City of Eden Prairie has had a shoreline code since 1982. We modified it in 96 and again in 2004. And since then, we've just started doing some things with development that we'd like to have solidified. So we're going to add those things in. The best way for us to do this is to repeal and replace section 11.50. It will make it easier to use and update. Other communities use the model ordinance. Some adopt it just carte blanche, or just, kind of as it's written by the DNR. But in this case, that doesn't work for Eden Prairie. And we've been working closely with the DNR to align our ordinance with things that make sense for them also. So this did receive Planning Commission recommendation of approval of the proposed ordinance with no changes on November 17th, their meeting. So the main changes that we're proposing are, actually several of them are just to make it more user-friendly. We're going to add the ordinary high water levels, which is a regulatory elevation, to the body of the city code. We're going to correct the DNR classification for streams. It was incorrect in our existing version of the ordinance. We're going to actually relax some of our rules around water-oriented accessory structures. Currently, you can only have like a little shed for storing fishing poles and life preservers and things like that within the shoreline setback, but this will actually align us with what DNR has accepted for those accessory structures. So folks could put something like a small patio or a gazebo down by the water in a way that they can't currently. It adds some vegetation management plan requirements, which is a administrative approval that has long been required by staff, and this puts this in city code. And finally, probably the most significant change is with regard to impervious surface. It refines the definition to include a few more examples because that can be confusing for applicants. And then the model ordinance that the DNR proposed required 25% impervious surface maximum throughout the entire shoreline zone. And if you're familiar with Eden Prairie and where our lakes are, some of them, there's no way that we could feasibly, economically, realistically put that restriction on properties within the shoreline. Places like the Golden Triangle actually has a considerable amount of shoreland. Areas over by Lake Idlewild, which is really close to where Wings Credit Union, right, was looking, those areas would be subject to that. And so we, in working with DNR in explaining the level of protection that Eden Prairie has been able to secure through land acquisition and easement acquisition throughout the years, we've been able to come up with a reasonable compromise of 30% limit for rural and R1 zone properties and 70% in all other zones. So with that, the requested action is to approve the first reading of repealing the existing Shoreline City Code, Section 11.50, and replace with new City Code, Section 11.50, relating to shoreline management.
Thank you. I have a quick question. I'll throw it open to council as well. We also have to have a public hearing here. What's the watershed district's role here? Are they a policing agent as well? Do they oversee any of what we do? Do they go beyond? Do they have their own? Are they preempting ours? How does that all fit?
Mayor, council members, that's a great question. They do not have land use authority. So while they may have some restrictions, one big example that they regulate that we don't is riprap. So if you want to stabilize shoreline, that requires a watershed district permit. But because they're not a land use authority, they can't get into the same level of detail that we do. So throughout the state, whether it's the county or cities or townships, whoever has that land use authority are the folks who are adopting these shoreline rules.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Council, anything else before we host our public hearing here?
Yeah, I do have.
Go ahead.
Does this affect anything like, docks that are in, somebody's backyard that adjoins a lake? Or for that matter, decks that are fairly close to said dock?
Mayor, council members, docks are regulated under a separate part of the code. It's, I believe it's Chapter 9. And so that wouldn't be affected at all. In this case, there is a provision about decks, but it is making the code more lenient in order to allow some sort of deck use in properties where they were set real close to the ordinary high or closer than the rule requires. It would actually provide a little flexibility to provide decks for some of those folks. So it doesn't change the overall setback of principal structures, primary structures, but it would provide a little more flexibility.
So in other words, anything the city of Eden Prairie approved a while back, on a deck or whatever it was, it's fine. People don't need
Yes,
to
it wouldn't be able
worry
to
about
be
that.
expanded, but it can exist the way that it is, yes.
Okay.
Boathouses are still grandfathered in?
Correct, yes. Those are prohibited by DNR and continue to be, but whatever is existing will remain.
Is something going to go out to the various lake associations? So many of our lakes have homes built around a good deal of it, and there's parks, there, and there's places you can put boats into the water from landings that are Eden Prairie. So do people have to wonder if they can still put their ice fishing house out onto the lake, which would be current, that you see happening all the time, or that kind of thing where it's going to affect use, or how the neighbors or maybe our neighbors coming to do ice fishing or, regular fishing during the summertime, that won't change then?
No, it really is just with development. around lakes.
You sound like you're asking from personal experience.
Well, I happen to live near,
You do happen to live near a lake, like on it, yeah.
well,
not like
but the public landing,
on it,
that
but
people come in
I-
and
no,
off of, you see
I'm-
all the time. And I can tell you there would be some very upset ice fishing people that seem to live on the lake that we would hear from them, I'm sure. But if everything's as is fine, and, you know. But some of the people, I think, have been doing this for maybe decades. And their children, and perhaps their grandchildren, so.
Why don't we go ahead and have the public hearing, and then if you have more questions, we can choose to close just the public hearing. So this is a public hearing. Anyone interested in addressing the council on the first reading of an ordinance that will repeal the city code and replace it with this new version of section 11.50, the Shoreland Management Ordinance? Seeing none, are you all okay making the entire motion? We can still ask questions. Could somebody close the public hearing and also move the motion?
I'll move to close the public hearing and approve the first reading of an ordinance repealing City Code Section 11.50 in its entirety and replacing it with the new City Code Section 11.50 related to shoreland management.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? I don't know who that was, but him? Yeah, okay. Do you need to take the call? I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's
All
fine.
those in
It's
favor
fine.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes unanimous. Thank you. Nice job. And this is the first time appearing publicly. Do you want to like do a song or anything, or just experience the moment? No? Okay. You did very well. We were all impressed, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we have payment of claims, which for anyone new to this meeting, it's the listing of all the expenditures that the city spent, items, specifics since our last meeting. Council, any items you wish to question or ask or find out more about? If not, could I entertain a motion to approve the payment of claims?
Move to approve the payment of claim as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's have roll call vote.
Councilmember Narayan,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Toomey.
Aye.
Mayor Case.
Aye. All right, now we move in, because this is the first meeting of the year, we have a whole lot of appointments for the year. Commissions we serve on, the newspaper we choose to use, and we're going to not whip through them, but move through them fairly quickly. But I'll turn it back to Mr. Getchell, and then you can tell us how you want us to proceed.
Mayor, I think you cover that very well. This is a time of the year where you, and mainly it's you as council members, are making appointments to those organizations that the city belongs to. So yeah, it covers a variety of organizations that serve the city in many different ways, and these are the annual appointments. In addition to, as you said, needing to appoint our official newspaper. So yes, you can go through each of these however, as you wish.
Okay. I won't even ask for discussion. However, if you have a comment or question, just interrupt me really fast before I call the vote. Okay, the first is the designating the paper, so could I have a motion?
Move to adopt a resolution designating the Eden Prairie Sun Sailor as the official city newspaper for the year 2026.
Second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed. All right, and just a real quick comment, we basically have to choose Eden Prairie Sun Sailor. We might anyway, but because there has to meet certain statutory qualifications. And once we lost Eden Prairie News, we don't have a lot of other alternatives. Okay, moving on, we designate the official meeting time plus the acting mayor, which is in what we statute calls the deputy mayor, or in the event that the mayor is absent from the meeting for any reason, the acting mayor fills in our meeting, or if I'm out of town and we have some type of community emergency, the acting mayor functions as mayor. You need to have somebody designated in that role. So with that, Kathy Nelson's the acting mayor, but could I have a motion to move the official meeting date, time, and place, and the acting mayor?
Move to adopt a resolution designating the official meeting date, time, place for the city of Eden Prairie Council in 2026 and appointing council member Kathy Nelson as acting mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, moving on to the council members that serve on the HRA, et cetera.
I move to adopt a resolution appointing city council members to serve as commissioners for the Eden Prairie Housing and Redevelopment Authority and appointing Ron Case as chair, Rick Getschau as executive director, and councilmember Kathy Nelson as secretary for the year 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, moving on to the Suburban Rate Authority. What we can do is just go up and down the line, so we're just moving really fast. So we'll start with Kathy here, and you're going to be next, and, okay, go.
Move to designate Public Works Director Robert Ellis as the director and Councilmember Mark Freiberg as the alternate director to the Suburban Rate Authority.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, go ahead, moving on.
Move to appoint Councilmember Kathy Nelson, Finance Manager Tammy Wilson to Eden Prairie Fire Reliefs Association.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, moving to the National League of Cities.
Move to appoint Mayor Ron Case as delegate and council members as alternates to the National League of Cities.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, next. Municipal Legislative Commission. Back to you.
Move to approve the appointment of Mayor Ron Case and Councilmember Lisa Toomey as alternates to the Municipal Legislative Commission.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, the Southwest Cable Commission.
Move to approve the appointment of Councilmember Mark Fiber to the Southwest Cable Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, moving on to the I-494.
Can I make a motion about me?
Sure.
Okay. Move to approve appointment of Councilmember Lisa Toomey to the I-494 Corridor Commission.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, moving on to the most important.
I like this one.
Appointment of the entire, and might need a little bit of explanation after we make it. Go ahead, Councilmember Nelson.
Move to approve appointment of Forestry and Natural Resources Supervisor Carly Whitner as Assistant Weed and Inspector for the City of Eden Prairie.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. So imagine a state of Minnesota 150 years ago where weeds were a huge problem to farms. And so you had to appoint a weed inspector, and typically it was the leader of that township or that city. So the mayor is the official weed inspector for the City of Eden Prairie. I don't know much about that, so we about the topic content. So we appoint a person who does know a lot about that as the assistant weed inspector. I will not be out in your yards inspecting your weeds. Okay, moving on to the Southwest Transit.
Move to approve the appointment of Councilmember Mark Freiberg to Southwest Transit Board as the Eden Prairie appointed representative for a 2-year term to end December 31st, 2027.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, just to let people know, we appoint 2 council members to the Southwest Transit Board, and they rotate, I mean, they go every other year, so we have that turnover.
So the second person.
And Councilmember Toomey is the other member.
I'm the treasurer.
Yes, I understand. You've got leadership now on the
Yeah.
Southwest Transit. I'm
It's exciting.
incredibly, indubitably impressed.
No, treasurer. Just treasurer.
All right, Mr. Getcho, anything else to come before the council tonight?
I believe the.
Oh, yes, we do
Councilmember
have a
Toomey has
council
a
member
quick
report.
report.
Thank you so much.
Just quickly.
No, to take all
I
the
would
10 you need. Go
just
ahead.
like to take this opportunity to acknowledge all of our snowplow drivers for all their hard work. It's long hours and tough conditions, everybody knows, and they work through it all to keep the city moving safely. And while most of us are still asleep, they're out there navigating icy roads and heavy snowfall so we can get to work, school, and emergency services are not affected. I would just like to say that their hard work is greatly appreciated, and so on behalf of the council and the residents of Eden Prairie, thank you so much. Keep up the good work. I know it's only January, but I have a feeling it's going to be a short winter, hopefully.
And all the ice and the accumulation of when rain, sleet, and snow falls sometimes create very bad situations on the road, which we've got right now if you're out and about. That being said, we have the best roads around. We just always, I hear that all the time from our residents, that we have the best condition roads around. Our current condition, which isn't, it's Mother Nature's fault, and even so, we have the best roads around. So thank you definitely to our snowplow drivers.
People
and-
tell
and-
me that they
and-
can tell as soon as they come into Eden
Yep.
Prairie.
And
I'm
it
not
gets-
going to say where they're coming from, but they
And it
can
gets
tell.
back to the equipment, again, it gets back to the levy, it gets back to the money that this council, based on you all telling us what you want us to spend it on, choose to spend for salaries, for staff people, and for the best equipment around, and also type of people that are state-of-the-art, they're just cutting-edge innovation and creativity. So we have just truly amazing staff, so thank you, thank you. Oh, and even use of salt. I know that we were setting records. This is all Mr. Ellis's area, I think, here, but we are known around the region. I think, don't we get copied, and we're a model for low salt usage. You still have to use it. Intersections, you got to use it somewhat for safety, but there are better ways than others in the way that you de-ice. And so again, we're state of the art. So thank you, Mr. Ellis, and make sure to thank your employees. Our wonderful employees who serve all of us. All right, council, anything else to come before the council this evening? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn the city council meeting tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. This meeting is adjourned. If you happen to be a student here and you wish to picture, prove to your teachers you were here, you're welcome to come up. If not, we won't be offended.